How's it going, everyone? Welcome to some more Star Wars Retro action. We are about to start Game 6 of the Premier to Endor Retro League. These players are just about to start. Give them the heads up. Today we have a matchup of Thomas Nguyen, Wowzers, playing Darkside, currently 4-1, and Timo Dusel, Dillen, playing Lightside, who is undefeated. And this is Table 2. Oops. As we get kicked off here. Alright, so we have Wowzers playing Raw Tier Operations for the Darkside, a very strong deck in this format and the following format, which is Premier to Death Star 2. And then we have Timo, or Dillen is his screen name, playing Prophet. Alright, hopefully my mic is working this time. I think it is. Alright, so this Premier to Endor, I've mentioned it in the past. This format is kind of in between what I'll call the early stage of Star Wars, where you don't have objectives. You start with one location and then you just hope to draw your other locations. So you have to pack 10, 12 sites just to get activation. And then the subsequent phase of Star Wars, where you have objectives, 3 effect starts, are much faster. Premier to Endor is kind of neither here nor there. There are objectives, but because you only have a 1 effect start, you don't really have the speed of, let's say, Premier to Death Star 2, because in a lot of cases, you might start Imperial Arrest Order, but you can't start, mobilization points isn't in the game yet, and so you still might have to pack a couple random 2-0 sites to get your activation going, or just activate a bunch of docking bays, or in this case Raltier can pull sites too. And wow, we see a very fast start from Wowzers as he pulls all 3 locations for Raltier right off the bat. Usually you'll probably run maybe 4. You'll run the docking bay, the swamp, and the jungle. Looks like and the forest, and it looks like he already deployed the jungle, so the swamp may be still in his deck. Other variants will run the spaceport package, I'll call it, which is the prefix office, the spaceport street, which lets you bounce around Raltier for free. That's another variant you might see. And now we see Timo going here, starts Insurrection as well. Again, probably pulling some docking bays for activation, but also potentially the Tatooine and or spaceport docking bay, which gives him an option to get onto Raltier without having to pay the +2 from the objective, which that coupled with Bad Feeling Have I can be kind of crippling when trying to deploy characters onto Raltier. And we see a very quick flip from Timo with Milos. And the idea here is, so Raltier Operations is going to deploy a bunch of guys and flip, which then takes all of Lightside's drains to -1. And so without lightsabers, now everywhere almost your drains are 0. But by flipping immediately, he now starts the ping damage from Prophet. And what you can do is you can set up with Han and, let's say, Ben Kenobi, which is hard to break. With Ben's ability to revive characters and all the other battle tricks that Prophet might run. And then you might have your other characters like Luke and Leia come onto Raltier and try to flip, battle him off Raltier or flip him back. And then you're still getting the ping damage through from Prophet. So we'll see. Alright, we'll see what happens here. By playing Kashyyyk, that tells me that Wowzers has a pretty healthy space package. Usually, though, Prophet does not. They might run, in the later Premier to Death Star 2 variants, you might see Home 1 package we've seen. Or in other cases, you might see maybe a Y-Wing with like a landing claw, or you might see no space. And so this could easily just be an uncontested drain of 2. But we'll see what Timo plays. So all the Raltier locations are already out with nobody deployed to them yet. I personally don't like doing this because if you get in a situation where light side flips you back, then it could actually be difficult to flip again, because light side might be at 1 to 2 locations, and you have to deploy onto light side so that they don't control, but then you have to control 3 sites. And so if there's only 3 sites on the table and light side's at one of them, you can never flip unless you battle them off. And so keeping one location in hand or keeping it back could give you a chance to, control 2 of the other locations, occupy the other ones, and then you drop, let's say, that 4th location with anybody, and now you can flip back. But we'll see if that matters. Usually light side needs to have space to be able to do something like that. Like deploy on Kashyyyk and then come to Raltir, or just deploy straight to Raltir with Attentive. As we see the flip on turn 2 from Wowzers. Of course, on the flip side, the advantage of throwing all your locations is you get the activation, which in this slow format could be a good benefit. Usually in, let's say, Premier to Death Star 2, as you're dropping these docking bays with mob points, you can throw one of these cheap guys like Dusel, who's free, to the docking bay, and you start getting a really big boost to your activation without having to drop your Raltir sites and give force back to light side. So, pretty interesting start. Both players getting off to, I guess Wowzers has more on the table, although Timo is going to be threatening 1 damage from the ping. Very interesting. So there are a couple different builds of ROPS. One's what looks like maybe Wowzers is playing, which I'm going to call the Walkers build, which is maybe a more balanced build, but it has all these walkers that can react. It's harder to battle off because you can't be hitting the walkers, and so you essentially have these pilots, ATST pilots. Ornette, for example, draws Battle Destiny, and then just reacting all over Raltir. The other build is a trooper build where you run a bunch of the stormtroopers. You see the barrier coming as Leia comes down for 6 force. Sense, okay. So the troopers build is more of an aggressive build. Oh, and he misses on the sense. It's unfortunate. Does he have another sense? Nope. So the trooper build runs a bunch of troopers, trooper assault, and it's way more aggressive, and it's trying to do big battles, drop a bunch of troopers for free, trooper assault, and overflow with damage. But it looks like Wowzers is playing the other build. And of course, ROPS will typically have things like barriers, reacting, so you might spend a lot of force to come down, and they're still going to be able to battle you off once they get set up. And usually the turn you flip, it can be one of the more dangerous turns for ROPS, because you spend a bunch of force, you end up having these ability 2 guys kind of by themselves, and you're hoping you have something to stop the potential onslaught from, or invasion from light side. In this case, he had the barrier, and because of how expensive it is to drop characters, he was only able to drop 1. Now Wowzers can probably drop a character or 2 to get the boost from the Battle Destiny. You get +1 for each Raltir location Imperial deploys, and then maybe he drops a Walker or another ability 2 character, and then battles with huge Battle Destiny. And of course the ability to pull for 2 force in the control phase any card, to tutor up any card, is also huge. So maybe he's looking for, any ability 2 character is gonna wipe Leia off. He might lose one of them, but the Battle Destiny will be irrelevant because all of Wowzer's characters are immune. It does have 3 force saved, and Raltir usually has a bunch of tricks, or I'm sorry, Prophet has a bunch of tricks, say dodge or narrow escape we sometimes see. Here comes Vader. He did lose Glancing Blow. So Vader at the Forest, Vader with Saber at the Forest, is a powerhouse because he's immune to attrition, and that's usually, that is the weakness of the EPP characters. So he might be losing just Arnett Doesn't look like Timo has the barrier. All right, here's the battle. So there's the narrow escape. So narrow escape, one of the cards that Prophet will use to evade battles. So he grabs it, okay. Not a bad grab because it's a used 5, which you can of course track back down to. It is annoying though, because now Timo can actually flip wowzers back if he just deploys onto the swamp. Oh, nobody moves over. Okay. So interesting. I think you pretty much have to do this in order to stay flipped. He's going to activate 12 force, so he's got 14 to work with. He's going to ping for 1. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 because of Leia. Yeah, unfortunate that Wowzer didn't have blast door controls. That would have that cancels barrier, but also narrow escape. So here comes Luke for 9 force. Ouch. So we're potentially here, and then another barrier. Yep, standard. But now Wowzers, there's no force saved. But he does get the barrier off, it looks like. Yeah, so he's likely to battle Vader. Although I don't know, because if Vader hits Leia, which is likely, then he's going to draw Battle Destiny +3. So potential to overflow here, and he just moves over. Okay. So we still haven't seen Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then of course there's probably Ora Marco, Twaska. But the longer that Wowzers can stay flipped, the harder it will be to flip him back, because every turn he's going to get the pull from Raltier to pull anything, and then eventually he's going to kind of be locked down under Raltier, you know, with walkers, enough characters that it's not going to matter. And there's the dodge, another one of those evasion cards we see from that's typical of Prophet. Let's see. So let me just check something really quickly. Alright, I'm curious. So he loses resistance off the top. Good card to stop inserts and also big drains. And it's usually likely that you're going to be on 3 battlegrounds as Raltier. Not a bad card. Okay, and here comes the walkers. So Blizzard 2 walkers. So again, what I was just saying, this is more of the balanced walkers build. It's probably going to be running things like trample. So you can, you know, if you're running a masterful move, you can track it and trample Master Luke. Now here's where it could be a little tricky, because if Dillen is able to kill Vader, then he can move over Master Luke and Leia and flip him. So he drops, let's say, anyone who draws Battle Destiny, hopefully doesn't get barriered, and then kills Vader. Now Luke moves over, flips, and then Leia moves over. And now he could still flip back, but now he's got to do some, you know, he's got to stop light side from controlling the site and then occupy the 3 sites. Alternatively, you know, if Dillen splits his characters, then he can't flip back unless he battles him. So we'll see what he does here. Loses Fett and Slave 1 from hand, Tempest Scout 6 from the top. That's a bad loss, because this is the one that reacts for very cheap. Tunnel Vision. Another way to flip him back, of course, is if he can get to space. If that happens, now it's very hard to flip him back, because he has to now stop him from occupying the forest, or he has to stop him from controlling the forest and the system. Okay, Hark Scarif's a good anti-ROPS card. Basically just use force to reduce force loss at the adjacent sites. and we see the Saber coming onto Luke. So even though he's flipped, Prophet is, even though Raltier is flipped, Prophet's still going to be able to do 3 damage a turn. 1 from the Saber Drain, and then 2 from the Ping. Spaceport Document coming down. You know, one thing that wowzers might think about doing is, you know, if you kill Han, then he's doing no damage, and so I'm curious. Obviously, he had the narrow escape, but you know, a blast door controls, and any character that draws ability probably clears this site. As long as he draws if he draws a 4 or higher. So I would be looking maybe to kill Han here. Dillen, I think, I mean, he's kind of okay drawing or doing 3 damage a turn, because generally Prophet is not going to commit many things to the board. And so he'll have a lot more force to be able to loot. So if they're trading 3 for 3, I think Prophet wins that, unless the math changes. Also, wowzers really wants to come down to Kashyyyk. I mean, I was curious that he lost Fet and Slave 1 from hand, because this is a free drain of 2. You know, you could potentially be playing some space, but you know, you usually run the barriers. You have a lot. You'll be drawing big battle destiny. You can pull whatever you need. So you know, you can pull Bosk and Houndstooth for the counter beat, and then now you're drawing 2 battle destiny plus 3 potentially more. So when I'm playing against Prophet, I want to get to space quickly, because now you're going to be doing 3 to 5 damage. And now you can start looking at, okay, do I want to control this drain, or do I want to kill Han? If you kill Han, then his damage is basically down to 1. Of course, with Hark Scarif, there we go. With Hark Scarif, though, he's potentially canceling these drains. So, yeah, wowzers needs to find a way to do some damage here. And this is a good way to do it. So now he's going to be doing 3 to 3, assuming that Teemo cancels these drains with Hark. Or I guess reduces the force loss is the better way to say it. Yeah, you know, with the way Prophet evades battle quite often, this might turn into a very uninteractive match. Although I gotta think, you know, you want to come down here and maybe try to kill Han. We see wowzers losing Forlom and Always Thinking with Your Stomach. Both pretty good cards. Ah, and he's playing another one. Okay. Oh, but he misses. That's unfortunate. So he cancels the drain of 1, loses 1 because you lose Always Thinking, but he doesn't get the it doesn't go through. That's unfortunate, because then you can lose, let's say, Master Luke or Hark Scarif, maybe. Probably Master Luke, though. And then you come down and wipe the site, and now you can never get Master Luke back. I gotta think that's what the play would have been. If it worked, you get rid of Master Luke, hope he doesn't find him, and then come down, you draw over a 4, you wipe the site, and now it's very hard to find Master Luke. So we'll see what Teemo does. He's kind of stuck on the forest now, though. But it's not a bad place to be when you have Hark Scarif, because you can control or cancel the 2 drains, or reduce the force loss from the 2 drains. Yeah, usually the ping damage is really the way to go, because Raltier doesn't affect the ping damage like it does the drains. I mean, getting drains is good, and it's definitely good if you can keep them off the 7 side, because the 7 side is just so powerful. But you can definitely race with the pinging if he has like Lando. Yeah, what's up, Solid Snack? Thanks for joining. We did see a couple battles, or I guess one battle that was evaded by Dillen, and now we're kind of at just a back and forth. All right, here. So we see Monarch from Lost from Wowzers. So blaster deflection, advantage, run Luke run, someone who loves you, Chewie, fallen portal, repairs. This is an interesting card. I wonder what that's trying to get. Obi-Wan's lightsaber. So he's probably running Ben Kenobi. Sorry about the mess. Barrier, another fallen portal, weapon lev, tunnel vision, clash, Master Luke, a gift. Interesting. So he definitely has a lot of those battle interrupts, like blaster deflection, run Luke run, fallen portal. I think he loses both fallen portals if... I'm not sure what we're waiting for here, but he's probably looking at his hand. So 2 fallen portals, very scary card that Prophet runs. If you track a destinies, you can really completely turn the tide of battle in your favor. Let's say an opponent drops Vader and Tarkin against your guys. I guess Tarkin would not work because Tarkin would cancel. Let's say Vader and Ozzel for whatever reason. You battle, you were tracking a 5, fallen portal, kill Vader, and now you just completely destroy Ozzel. So yeah, Tarkin can cancel the fallen portal, but then he can't cancel the other battle destinies. Dylan loses a gift. A gift won't really do much in this matchup. It works well against the alien decks like Court or ISB, depending on the build. And we see the canceling from Hark Scarif. Interesting that Dylan saved so much force. I guess we see what he has in hand. What is he trying to do? He's got tunnel vision and Obi Saber and Chewie. Well, if you move the droid with the gift, I think you lose the droid. You lose the gift. Effect canceled if droid leaves Tatooine. So I'm guessing he's saving up. Yeah, I'm guessing that Dylan's saving up to do a tunnel vision where he has activated Ben, drops Ben, and then where do you go? So do you go to the docking bay and then transit and move everyone to the in front of Vader? That would have been much better if he had if he still had the fallen portals. Alternatively, you just put him on Tatooine and you start draining for 1 there as well. You put him in Chewie, and now you're pinging for 3, draining for 2, and you just keep racing. I'm not sure, but now that Reactor Terminal is out, Wowzers can just start cycling through his whole deck, craft all the cards, craft the hand he needs, stack destinies, and potentially come and kill Han. He also knows that Han doesn't have, or he knows all the tricks, but he didn't come down, so maybe he didn't have the cards to come down against Han. He did have the barrier. He maybe had nothing to stop barrier, because I think that's the turn to come down against Han. There's the tunnel vision. It's probably for Ben Kenobi because he didn't have him in hand and he has the saber. I don't think you move in front of Vader though, because presumably Wowzers is able to have stacked destinies by now with Reactor Terminal. There's the ping for 2. So right now we're looking at 24, 30 to 34. And that's going to get So 29 to 34. And Timo is doing 1, 2, 3 damage, and Wowzers is doing 3 as well. So right now the math is in Timo's favor, if nothing else changes. Interesting. Running Oberk. A lot of the troopers like that. Yep, there goes Ben. That was tunnel visioned on this turn. Some of the troopers have a lot of synergy with each other. A lot of the speeder bike troopers. Okay, so it is the drop Ben, drop Saber, drop Chewie. Now you're doing 1, 2, 3 ping plus 2 force strain. So 5 to 3. So now the math is much more strongly in Dylan's favor. Yeah, I gotta think you come down against. You gotta come down against Han. I think you have to come down against Han. Sorry, I'm getting work messages. There's the 5. Must be anticipating potentially a battle. Paying 9 to drain. Yeah, Wowzer's dropping battle order would be good, but there's no battle order right now. Dylan unlikely to be playing battle plan because again, Prophet probably doesn't run space. Wowzers may or may not. Yeah. So hi Jane up. There's definitely a possibility to have 3 6-0s, and I've been talking with like Timo and Paul, and what we're all curious what would happen, because I know we've done the final confrontation, but a 3-way 6-0 would be interesting. I mean, potentially 3 more or 4 more final confrontations, like a round robin thing would be awesome. You know, more high level games is always nice. Yeah, right. A mini tournament. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Dylan would. Let's see, Paul and Brad play, and then Jeff plays Worm Time, I think. Red 5 plays Worm Time. So we see the drains. They get the force loss is reduced by Hark Scarif. Again, great card against Raltier. So Wowzers definitely needs to do something here. Okay, so here's the blast door control. So let's see if he comes down against Han now. He can't dodge. Narrow escape is grabbed and canceled. No barrier. I gotta think you come down, and he might be running another one. We didn't see it in his hand, but he might have drawn it. I didn't catch if he drew some cards. He did draw 1 card. I think, yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's Arden, who draws by himself. Presumably he tracked this Destiny because he only activated 12. And so this is the Destiny probably drawn from Reactor Terminal, because we haven't really been seeing a lot of Destinies drawn. And I think you battle, clear the site, and you're not really scared of much because everyone is already down from light side. So you can just stay at the audience chamber. You probably have another barrier in hand. Aim high so he does hit him, that's fine. He's going to draw X plus 3 for Battle Destiny, but presumably we know what this is. Maybe a 5 or a 6, so this is going to be 9 or 8 or 9 for Battle Destiny, which clears the site. But Timo knows what his destiny is. Okay, so 3, so it's a 6. He loses Han. And there's the 1. So he did cycle a shocking, but there's a couple cards. I think it's the next card is probably the shocking. So huge turn for Wowzers, flips them back. Ah, but old Ben. Okay. Did we see that in hand? I don't remember seeing that when he got monocked. So did he draw that as his one card? Ah, he drew it. Okay. Alright, so Wowzers has to do that again, basically. Ellis Hellrot with the 0, okay. Interesting. So who's he transporting? Vader. I don't know if I like that move. So we're pretty sure that their 5 is on top. Oh, he circles. Oh, but it's a tie, isn't it? Or does Ben win? Oh no! He forgot about Ben's text. Oh, that could be game right there. Yep. So Ben Kenobi adds 2 to his duel, to his total. So the way to have done that play is you got to disarm him or use like Forlom to cancel his text in battle. Or you can do a sniper of Forlom, or I guess, yeah, so long story short, or a lesson is that Ben Kenobi adds 2 to his destiny, so when he has a saber, he beats EPP Vader in a duel. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, that sucks. I guess with the... Yeah, I guess that's not a horrible play. If it's not Ben, or I don't know. But he's got to kill Han. The way out of this is to kill Han or spread very wide. Because he's doing 5 damage still. He's got to kill Han. Because the minute you kill Han, it comes down to 1. He turns it into 1 damage a turn. We'll see. But he's running out of cards as well. I'm trying to think what else he might run that draws Battle Destiny alone. He probably just has to drop 2 ability 2 guys. And then hope that he doesn't have another old Ben. But maybe Timo now switches Milos and Han. I think you do that, because usually you put Ben Kenobi and Han together, and it's kind of hard to break that, because Ben just keeps reviving Han. So let's see, 28 to 21. So the damage is definitely starting to pile up. I guess we'll see. We still has reactor terminal, so he can basically draw his whole deck, cycle the cards he doesn't want, and he flips them back. Okay, that might be game, because I think Wowzers is going to have a hard time flipping back to his 7 side. So now he's doing 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. Is that right? I did the math wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, 10. 2 turns. 3 turns, I guess. Yeah, Hark Scarif is great tech for like Raltier, Court, decks that play on Cloud City. Yeah, Hark Scarif is a very good card against Raltier. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what he has to do. So going back to what we were saying, in order to flip back, Wowzers has to battle them off one of those sites and stop him from controlling the forest. So not an easy thing to do with not much force left. I mean, you got to start suiciding into Han. You have to kill Han. Loses disarmed. Drains for 1. That's going to get... Oh, the surprise assault. And the 4 and whatever else is damage. 5. Ouch. So he loses 5. That is probably... I mean, I think it was already been game, but I think that's definitely game. Now he has much less to work with. I don't know, why do you lose Cabal though? This is one of your ability 2 guys. You have to battle. It doesn't make sense. You need these guys. This is the way you kill Han, and killing Han is the way to shut off the ping and the drains here. I don't understand that. I mean, yeah, he's flipped back, and so maybe it's too late, but if you draw a 5, you kill Han. I don't see an out. By the way, after this game, I'm going to be doing a replay commentary on Dylan's previous game with Tecmo R, so game 5. Here comes Tempest 1. Yeah, he just doesn't have a lot of force to work with. Okay. Okay, so he can flip him back this way. If he draws over a 6, which he can't, he's not going to flip him back this turn. Run, Luke, run. Actually, I guess he could flip back now. If he survives, he can flip him back. Oh, brutal. So GG, call from wowzers. We get the Run, Luke, run, and the Skywalkers. So that, ouch. Okay, so good game. Well fought by wowzers. Good game, Dylan. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Some good interaction. How did Obi get +2 power? Yeah, his game text. Yeah, so Dylan advances 6-0. There is the possibility, of course, that we have 3 6-0s. The other 2 games are still waiting to be played. I think Brad Kipple versus Paul Feldman and Jeff Bauman versus I'm not sure Wormtime's name. So we're still waiting on those. So good game to those players. Let's go ahead now and look at Timo's game 5. So this is against Tecmo R, playing Dylan on Raltier and Tecmo R on Hidden Base. So I'll pause it here really quickly. So I played Tecmo R. I played Mark Billings my last 2 games, so not this week, or I guess I played him for games 3 and 4. I played Mark. And I think he played this same light side deck against me, which was not what I was expecting, but I won't get into that game. So he obviously beat me, and then he went on to play Tecmo R. Just as a side note, Mark later said that he wasn't feeling well this match, so I'll get into that. I'll come back to that in a second. So Raltier. Oh, I missed the... Let me restart that because I want to see the verify so we can see Timo's deck. So I do know what happens in this game, but I have not seen the game. So it won't be a complete surprise to me. But again, I do know what happens. So let's see what... when he gets the pull. Okay, so looking at this looks most certainly like the Trooper build with the Spaceport package I was talking about. And what that is you play the Spaceport Street, the office, the docking bay, and also the forest. But the spaceport street allows you to bounce between all the spaceport sites for free. And so you can do a lot of tricks, and it's much easier to flip back and flip with the spaceport street. Yeah, GG wowzers, that was a rough game. Timo's also playing Endor Docking Bay. That's kind of interesting. I thought that was the forest at first. This is okay, this is an interesting. We'll see if this comes into play. Usually Raltier wants to stay on Raltier, but Endor Docking Bay is an interesting ad. He's playing Twix-Sided Cave. Sometimes you'll also play Coruscant as a good one. And then he's playing Wraithall. And the reason you play Wraithall is to play numbers. And we don't see it here, which means that it is the one. It is he activated it, unless I'm blind, because all your troopers are Destiny +1/+2 if you control. So you drop Wraithall, you drop Zuckuss, which is props. if oh, there's Zuckuss. Okay, so Zuckuss here, you know, to control the system, and now all your troopers who are already pretty high Destiny, you know, 3s, etc., are now Destiny 5. And I think the 1 numbers is probably one of the 2 cards. I guess we'll see it if he draws. And then, of course, he's playing Trooper Assaults, ability, because you usually drop a lot of guys. So a couple Trooper Assaults, Tactical Support pulls your troopers, and a lot of your guys are troopers. Imperial Supply, that's an interesting one. And just a couple walkers. I think the ones that react cheaply or deploy cheaply. Okay, so that's his deck. So we expect to see one of these cards being a numbers. And then he has Search and Destroy, Gick. So otherwise pretty standard trooper build. Okay, so he pulls the street. And one of probably his 0-1 docking bays, the Executor Docking Bay. Yeah, Dillen is a very good player. That's definitely true. So another walker and no numbers. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe he plays it as a way to, as his own numbers defense, and he also run Torture, I saw. So Bothui, and he plays his own Raltier. Okay, so this is one way that you can stop the Raltier flip. So Mark, by deploying this, he can deploy a ship right to Raltier before he can flip. Now Timo has to deploy a ship himself in order to flip to the 7 side. So he pulled the office, he pulls the docking bay. Okay, interesting, deciding not to flip yet. I didn't catch, he might have activated it, but a lot of times you'll deploy, turn 1 you'll deploy, you know, one of the random locations. He did activate it, that's unfortunate. Had he not activated the docking bay, you can on turn 2 flip. You know, he's got a lot of these cheap guys. Maybe he didn't have enough force either though. And here comes the transports. So this is definitely the deck that I think Mark played against me. So now it's a little more tricky to flip. He's got to deploy onto the system as well, and occupy and control 3 Raltier sites with Imperials. Yep. So he plays Tactical Support to get out a bunch of cheap troopers. So he can flip, I think, because he can deploy Shuttle to Raltier, troopers to the sites, and then either move away or land. Or he could deploy Bosk and Bus is cheap too, because you get the -2 from Raltier. And if he deploys, okay, so I think he's going to move away. So he'll deploy Shuttle maybe and move away. Yep. Shuttle flips and then either lands or moves away. Oh, deploys a guy. Just battle, I guess. Yeah, just battle at this point. Hyper escape, that's fine. Hidden base, running a lot of these tricks. But at this point though, so Dylan's in a pretty good spot. So probably his next play is to pull Search and Destroy with his pull on his control phase. But now he comes down. He does have Tempest Scout 6, which reacts. Okay, so this is the play I think I was hearing about. So he deploys Luke with Lightsaber and Gimmer Stick, order to engage. We'll see what else he does. He masterful moves for Monarch. Dillen is going to activate 10. And he draws a card. Okay, so this play is saying, okay, Raw tier usually Troopers runs a bunch of these ability 2 guys. They don't run a lot of ability 3 guys. In fact, probably the guys you run are Vader and Mara. Those are probably the only ability greater than 3 or ability 4 or greater guys you run in this format. And so therefore he can't be battled and he loses to order to engage. However, Raltier is flipped, and so you activate 12, he can pull any card in his deck for 2 force. And Blast Door Controls is also out, so he can't get barriered, even if he has 1 force left. So he could potentially just draw Vader in battle, and then he's going to have +4 to Battle Destiny. Not to mention if he has EPP Vader, which he already has in hand, and can swing. If he hits Luke, now he's in trouble because +4 to Battle Destiny, let's say he draws a 3, so 7, he could be doing a lot of damage here. And so if I'm Dylan, I'm thinking I drop Vader, I pull Trooper Assault. This guy will deploy for free from the battle. I can deploy Barrack, who's nasty because he also does this, although he doesn't have another Biker Scout. So I'm thinking I drop Vader, I drop Wallen when I battle for free, and I drop Barrack and play Trooper Assault. And hopefully if you hit, then he's going to have overflow. So we'll see what happens. Activates his 10, does his pull. So there's the Trooper Assault. That's probably what I'm grabbing. He runs 2 EPP Vaders, so if he didn't have Vader in hand, he would be pulling Vader. I think that's what you grab. Trooper Assault, or... These guys do anything? No. He could also... doesn't have tactical support, so yeah. Does this guy do anything with Barrach? Maybe he pulls Elsic too, because then you can subtract from power. So we'll see. Oh, Bad Feeling. Okay. So going for the kind of the longer play instead of the all-in battle. So we'll see what he does. Loses Freighter Captain, pulls the Docking Bay, pulls the Endor Docking Bay. That's still an interesting addition to the deck. And here comes Vader. Can't be barriered. And he's going to battle and add Wallen. He didn't play Bad Feeling, have I? That's very interesting. I'm curious about that play. And so if he hits, this is going to be very, very painful. And he hits with the 6. Ouch. Okay, and so he's going to draw Battle Destiny +4. Yeah, I'm curious about this pull. Maybe he didn't want to pull the High Destiny from his deck. So he swings back. He might hit him, but I think it's of little consequence. A 7, okay, so he definitely hits him. So now let's see what they do for Battle Destiny, because right now he could be losing a lot. And he draws a 3, which becomes a 7, so 20 to... So he's going to lose 15 minus whatever... Oh, ouch, 14. So 14 overflow. Ouch. So the Gimmer Stick play didn't work out. Let's see what he loses here. So this is very bad because as you're losing from deck, it's possible that you lose. Let's see what he lost. The system, that's your hidden base, and then you can never flip. So he loses Ultimatum, some guy in their scene, Uncontrollable Fury, Power Pivot, Boosh. So he doesn't lose any systems, so he can still flip. So the Gimmer Stick, while it works really well in certain situations, like let's say against Court that's running all aliens, they might never be able to battle you. But Dillen being flipped, it ended up being of little consequence because he actually had Vader in hand. But being flipped, if he didn't have him in hand, he would have been able to pull him. And he plays Mara, 2 Vaders with Saber, and Jabba the Hutt. So there was a high chance that he would have been able to pull a guy that could satisfy Gimmer Stick, and then Luke is not safe, like Mark would have thought. And again, as I prefaced earlier, Mark wasn't feeling that well when he was playing this. But also I want to mention that this game is extremely complicated, and I can't think of a single game that I've played, even ones that I've won and played well, that I've ever not made a mistake. It is a very complicated game, and even at this level, players are making mistakes. So if you're a new player, who's struggling to learn and making a lot of mistakes, don't be discouraged. It is a very complicated game. I played at least 4 to 5 different card games, and I can easily say that this is by far the most complicated. The way the mechanics are, just make it such a complex game. So don't be discouraged. Everyone makes mistakes, and let's just see where this goes. I think the game is definitely in Dylan's favor right now. Mark did flip. Let me just catch up here. So Mark did flip, moves to Kessel and Kifix, which are the only locations he can do damage at the moment. Sometimes you'll see Hidden Base run a Coruscant as well. Against Reltier specifically, because you get in this situation where Reltier is flipped and you're only doing 3 damage. But now Dylan runs, still has good space in his deck. He's got his whole deck basically left still. He's got Zuckuss, he's got Bosk. He can't get barriered, so he can easily just, probe, run away, or battle, probe, or probe, battle, run away, probe again. So I think it's pretty soon we'll see that he'll start probing, or just battle him out of space. Yeah, that happens all the time. Blast Door Controls comes out, and you play it. You play the barrier anyways. We see the probe coming on Reltier, he misses. Yeah, I'm very curious why I didn't play Bad Feeling last turn. It didn't really matter, but I would have pulled Trooper Assault personally, and then so there's the Hyper Escape, not unexpected. He doesn't probe, which is a little curious. I mean, maybe he really likes the cards in his hand. I guess he can probe next turn. But the other thing, though, is that he's going to be here this turn. He can just probe on his following. That's probably what he's doing. He doesn't really care if Mark is at the other systems. If he's not at Kessel and not at Kifix, he's doing no damage. So he probably thought, attack here. He either kills him or he moves away. I'll probe with a different card. Maybe he liked the cards in hand on Mark's turn, and then now Mark's not really doing damage. So we see the probe on Bathui. It's not it. We'll see the probe if he probes Kessel. He does. Let's see if it was Kessel. Drops Mara. Curious why I didn't drop Jabba instead. So he's going to snipe Zuckuss. Hits him. Does Iral draw Destiny here? I think yes, right? Yes. Attacks here, but he has the reacting scout. I don't think he draws Destiny yet. Sometimes it's, sometimes, I don't know. It'd be interesting if someone plotted the distribution of which which systems are most likely to be it. Sometimes you do Kessel, sometimes you do one that's least obvious, like Ord Mantle. Like nobody wants to be on Ord Mantle, so it's probably that, maybe. Or maybe it's Kifix. Okay, so Milos is probably going to get deleted here by Vader and a bunch of guys. Yeah, I think right now Mark's in a really tough spot. Yeah, this is just going to be, unless he has a Hujix, but I guess unlikely. But this is going to be a big hit here. Search and destroys is probably going to hit. Definitely hits, and then he's going to do +3 for Battle Destiny. And so this is 14 plus Destiny +3 in overflow, minus I guess whatever he draws. Yeah, we're doing your follow, your game, your previous week's game. Yeah. And GG.